Dylan here again with another video, and today we're going to be reviewing K&N's Typhoon intake on my Civic Si. So it's been about 2 weeks since I installed the intake, and so far it's been running good, no problems. So I'm going to leave you a review, share my thoughts, see if I recommend it to you guys, and hopefully you'll see why I got this intake. So let's get right into it. Alright guys, so we're in my Civic Si, and we're going to test out K&N's Typhoon intake. So let's see how it goes. All the windows are up, by the way. From a daily driving standpoint, not much is happening. It's still the same. That's when it gets up and goes. Yeah, from daily driving, not much is happening, but once you put your foot down, it just starts to growl. The induction sound is nice. That's fourth gear, by the way. Smile on your face. Wow. My God, makes Vtec scream. Wow. Alright, so what do I think about K&N's intake on my Civic Si? Well, I have to say I really enjoy it so far. I actually really love it. When you're daily driving, you don't really feel the power, but once you get into the mid-range to the top end, when Vtec comes in, that's when you really feel the car pulling. Compared to stock, it definitely does pull a little bit, just a little bit more, and the sound that goes along with it just adds into the experience. So yeah, you feel a little bit more power. Vtec sounds great, the crossover sounds great. Overall, it's just a nice experience. So what are the pros and cons to this intake? Well, the first pro to this intake would have to be the quality and design. The tubing, the piping is a aluminum tube. The heat shield is a nice metal. The hardware that comes along with it, the clamps, everything stainless steel. Yeah. From a design standpoint, the K&N Typhoon intake is like a hybrid between a short ram intake and a cold air intake. So the tubing is a short ram design, and then the incorporated heat shield creates a cold air intake effect. So the other day I was driving all day and then I popped open the engine bay, and I felt all this warm air floating around. And then I stuck my hand behind the heat shield, and then I was actually impressed that the heat shield actually works. Um, if I had to guess, I'd say it's blocking about 80% of the warm air. Alright, so the next pro to this intake would be the sound, which is my favorite thing. The induction noise that this intake provides, it really complements Vtec, really complements K20. It's like it suits it well. This intake also reminds me of the Gruppy M or the Grupp M, whatever you want to call it. That intake where the intake is positioned literally behind the driver, so it just creates that nice sound, that nice Vtec sound, that nice induction sound. Yeah. The next pro about this intake would have to be the install. It's a simple bolt-on. You just remove the stock air box, connect it back with the stock fresh air supply, just bolt it on, and you're good to go. This design saves you a lot of time. Just really bolt it on compared to the other intakes. You have to relocate your battery, all that extra stuff. Not saying that's bad to do it. It's just this intake is one of those intakes that's just a simple bolt on. Even right now, I'm not even tuned with it, and I haven't had any problems so far. No fluctuations with my air-fuel ratio. My idle has been the same. It's the same as stock. Stays below 1, doesn't rise up. So yeah, no problem so far. The only con I'd say about this intake would be it doesn't make as much power as those 3.5-inch intakes do. Those intakes really absorb the max amount of air that this car can take and takes the power to the next level. This intake is like in the mid-range, and those 3.5 intakes would be at that's your max performance. Then the other intakes, the lower end intakes for these cars would be at that bottom of the spectrum. So overall, I definitely recommend the K&N intake. I love the sound it creates. I love the extra kick and power. Compared to stock, it really does change the character of the car. Yeah, the only bad part about this intake is that it doesn't make as much power as your higher performance intakes, but it still makes decent amount of power. I definitely recommend it, like I said. Yeah, if you enjoyed this video, like, share, subscribe, do what you have to do. Still in here from High Beams Crew. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.